Hi again, everyone. In this session we promised to talk about a very interesting contact experience that Helene's son Ben had, which helped him through his fear. I'd just like to mention we're really pushing Helene out of her comfort zone here, but she felt that she needed to actually speak herself to be able to connect with other mothers of hybrid and star children out there. I keep saying star children, but I know that a lot of people use the term hybrids, and they're basically the same thing. The only difference is the star kids have more Earth human genetics and the hybrid children have a little bit more ET genetics, but they're coming together. So I'll let Helene talk about Ben's experience when he met his teacher.
Okay. Just trying to think how it all started. When he called me into his room, that's right, and he was saying that by this stage, you know, I was sort of trying to talk him through and explain they're not here to hurt him, and they're here to help him and guide him, and that they're his friends, and then it reached to a point where he was starting to accept it a bit more, but he was still scared, and he yelled out and he said, "Mum," he said, "there's someone here in the room with me, and I know I'm supposed to love them or like them like you said, but I can't. I'm still scared." And I said, "Well, what's so scary about them?" And he couldn't, because he was young, he couldn't put it into words properly. But it eventually got to a point where because Ben is very sensitive with his energies, like there's certain shops he wouldn't go into because he said, "Oh no, the energies are no good there." And I'm sure there's you can relate to a lot of that as well. And anyway, then I don't know why, once again it just came into my mind, and I said, "Look, it's okay." I said, "What if you put your hand," we were sitting on his bed, and said, "What if you just put your hand out and you feel her energies?" And now I could see something sort of vague, on an energy level happening. I could feel it a lot more in the room than I can see it. But I knew that she, was there. And he said it was a she. And Jude explained to me later on that in a lot of cases it's male have female teachers and females have male teachers, and it's all to do with yin and yang and balance.
Negative energy coming together.
Yeah. So anyway, I said to him, "Well, why don't you I'm here with you, everything's going to be okay, and just put your hand up and just feel her energies." And all of us, he did, and then I said to him, and he actually put his hand up, and I said to him, "Can you feel her?" And he said yes, and I said, "What does it feel like?" And he goes, "She feels all gooey like you, Mum," was how he explained it, and which in his mind it meant, like nurturing and Mum's love and energy. And you know what? After that, he never ever had a night terror ever again. So I wished I'd thought of that 2 or 3 years before it all started. So I hope it helps someone else out there.
But there was obviously a lot of learning going on for both of you, so as in all cases, this contact is about learning.
That's what I did find too, was actually as he was growing and learning, so was I. And we were both teaching each other and helping each other along, which was amazing. Yeah, lovely.
Now what I'd like to do, I'd like to again read here directly from Helene's diary notes from back then. And these are diary notes that she wrote up after Ben met up with his Zeta teacher, who we know as Anidus. And you can see the whole, the feeling and energy behind what he was going through has completely changed. Because by linking with this teacher, he was then starting to get his empowerment and to understand why he's here and to link more into his mission. Now this is dated September the 30th, 2007, so it's 7 years after he had his first experiences that involved a lot of fear. And Helene writes, "Ben had a dream in which he was standing at the back of his classroom at school. He had 2 friends standing either side of him that he knew very well, but not in his waking life. They were taking children from the room and putting them into carts to be taken underground down a tunnel for protection. Ben and his 2 friends suddenly had to escape as bad people were chasing after them. A car turned up and the 3 of them climbed in. The door of this car opened up in the middle section and there were 2 seats in the back on either side, leaving plenty of room to stretch out, and 1 driver's seat in the middle at the front. There was no steering wheel. One of Ben's friends gave a telepathic order to go, and the car moved off. They got away safely. And what did he tell you about that?
Yes, I remember him saying to me that, Mum, when we got into this car, he said the door lifted up, you know, instead of like a normal car door opening that way, that it actually sort of lifted up. And that was his memory of it. I don't know, looking back now, whether the, you know, it was the disc, like the door automatically would have gone up for them to get in. But also, he said, it didn't have a steering wheel. And I said, well, how did you get it to move? And he said, we just thought where we want to go in our mind, and it did it. And that was how he explained it. Yeah, which is proof again, isn't it? You know?
And when he described it, I thought it sounds exactly like the mini discs, the little ships that the Zetas use. I have very clear memories of being on one of these, and the way Ben described it was exactly the way they are. And bearing in mind that we never spoke about any of this to him, so he never heard me give a description. Nothing of it was ever discussed in front of him.
No, ever.
Ever.
No.
I'd just like to read out another little excerpt here, this one from October the 1st, 2007, again to show how Ben was really opening up after connecting with his teacher. Ben dreamed that he was in a cave and there was an underground tunnel. He was walking in front and children were following behind him in a line. He would think something in his mind, for example, rain, and it would rain, or wind, and the wind would start blowing. If any of the children became frightened, they would have to go back to the beginning and start again. The rest followed Ben right to the end. Now, to me, that said a lot about the mission that the hybrid children and star children are going to be carrying out on Earth in the future.
Yeah.
Giving this guidance to others.
And he was probably giving them training.
Yes.
Yeah. Just amazing. It's amazing when you look back at it all.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think that just about wind us up for this session.
Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you.
Thank you.